to the show. You are one-on-one with Wes the Sports Guy here on YouTube and online all the time at westhesportsguy.com. If you're watching this video, you can tell by the title of it that there's not going to be any special cutaways, no segments or anything like that. This is just me, my personal thoughts on the passing of Kobe Bryant, where him and 8 others unfortunately were lost in a helicopter crash in January. My heartfelt thoughts and prayers go out to all of the families, the victims, their loved ones throughout this great time of sorrow. It's just awful to hear about how everything has been going forward afterwards. All the stories that you're hearing, it's just an awful situation. Just a quick little backstory with myself and why this affected me more than other passings as far as sports figures goes. My first love was basketball. Kind of hard to believe, but it actually was. Look back at it was either 4th or 5th grade yearbook, and I had said that when I grew up, I was essentially going to be a player in the NBA. Didn't happen, but you know, this is where I am right now. I couldn't be happier. I love doing what I'm doing as a side note as a hobby kind of thing. You know, I like what I do. Would it be nice to do the other thing? Sure, but as things go, it didn't happen. But I did make an effort at it, but this is where I ended up. Parlaying that into my first love of basketball, I basically took it upon myself to put me on an NBA team in my middle school and high school years, kind of like as a fantasy basketball thing. This is well before the internet became what it is, but I lived out a fantasy as a member and a player on the Los Angeles Lakers in the Shaq and Kobe days. So that's where that love of the game and the sport comes from. Going into this, I'm not going to go too much into Kobe's accomplishments on the court or even off the court. That's best left for others that have done a better job than I have. I'll leave a link in the description to a YouTube channel, a guy by the name of Andy Hoops. That's the channel name. I'll leave a link in the description below for his video of the accomplishments on the court of Kobe Bryant. He did a much better job than I could ever do. Make sure you give him a subscribe, give him a like, all that good stuff when you watch that video and all his other videos. Just fantastic job all the way around. But as that day went on, it affected me in a way that I didn't expect, and it started when I saw the birth year of Kobe Bryant, 1978, and it hit me in that moment that he's roughly the same age as both of my older brothers, one born a year before Kobe, one born a year after him. So that hit me kind of hard, and then it got worse when you hear more people were involved in the crash, and one of them happened to be one of his daughters, Gianna, only 13 years old. And that really got me, and it got a lot of people too. Everybody, I'm sure, had to message loved ones throughout that day and the coming days afterwards how much they loved and appreciated them, and that's exactly what I did. I got in contact with both my brothers and their families, told them how much I loved and appreciated them, and really that's the one thing that is coming out of this, that we all realize in moments like this that life is incredibly fragile to a degree, but it's also very precious, so we must enjoy it as much as we possibly can. We're fortunate to be in a time when we can have access to communicate with pretty much anybody at any time around the world. And in some cases, we still feel like it is the way things were even 5 years ago, 10 years ago, but we're thinking 20 plus, where you didn't have this kind of way to communicate with everybody. And we just let time go by, which I'm not saying we're not busy. We have a lot of things on our plate on a day-to-day basis. But even so, if you just send a quick text message, it doesn't even have to be a phone call, but even just a quick text, you gotta appreciate everything that you have. And and those that are around you and that you care about, and vice versa. That's one thing that definitely impacted me more than with others' passings. And when Shaq was talking the couple days after it was announced that he had passed, he said the last time he talked to Kobe was his last game in the NBA when he scored 60 points. That was the last time he had spoken to him. And to think that two guys, Kobe and Shaq, obviously they mended their fences. There's no bad blood between them, obviously. But to think with the access that these two have, they had never talked to each other since that game. That's how incredibly busy these two are. But yet Shaq has a little bit of regret, and I'm not saying he should, nor should anybody have regrets about that kind of stuff when it pertains to talking to family and things of that nature. You don't need to be regretting about stuff like that. But it makes you take a step back and realize that you got to enjoy life. Cherish those that are around you. Love them unconditionally. Anything that could be driving a wedge between you, it's time to just let it go. It's time to come together and just enjoy what you have and appreciate each other. So with that said, again, my thoughts and prayers are still going to be with those that lost loved ones in this tragedy. May you find love and comfort in this time. And I thank you for tuning in to watch this video. No fancy send-off or anything like that, but I do appreciate you coming to check in. And until then, I will see you next time.